Today I'm going to share with you how I have set up a new diamond painting for my son to do for his very first diamond painting. Hi there. Yesterday I received 2 new diamond paintings in the mail. Both seem to be fairly small. One's a little bit larger than the other. This one is a 30 by 30 centimeter and it is going to be done by my son. It will be his very first time with an attempt at diamond painting. He's seen me do many, especially over the last few weeks with the stay-at-home order that we've had. But I wanted to go over how I'm going to set this up for him so that he has success for his very first time. So as you can see, there are marks from the way that it was folded. Actually, let me show you this. This is the other one that came, and this is how they came in a package that you open on one end, unroll it, and this is what you see. It's kind of hard to tell, but let me see if I can pull that up close enough for you to see. It's going to be an eagle, but since it's so small, honestly, the pixels on it are not going to be great, but it will be something fast and easy for a first time to do this. So the first thing I want to do is, since it came rolled this way, I want to roll it in the opposite direction and try to get rid of some of these creases so that it lays flat for him. It didn't come on one of those rollers like some of the more expensive and nicer canvas ones will come on. I'm going to try to roll that, squeeze it out, open it back up. Yeah, let's try rolling it in this direction. I think I'm going to roll it in every direction but the way it came. Maybe that's going to flatten out a little bit better. So again, this is going to be a poured glue because it has this clear top coat. So one of the first things I want to do is take a piece of parchment paper, and you may not be able to tell, but I actually have it separated into quadrants. And I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut that up and have them ready to put on here when I remove this clear plastic. Now I don't trash that clear plastic, excuse me. I want to save that for after the whole painting is finished, that there is something to come back and cover it with for storage until it's decided what's going to happen with it. He might want to frame it. He might want to just store it somewhere and say, hey, this was my first one. But I'm hoping he'll want to put it on his wall as something completed. So I'm just putting these off to the side so they will be ready to put on there as soon as I take this clear off. Now the other thing I want to do when I remove this clear plastic is I want to put some washi tape around the edges. I'm a little confused. I mean, this one is the very first one I've ever received like this, and as you can tell, it definitely came from China. Most of these are printed in China. There are a few companies here in the US that are producing these, but honestly, I think because it's done so much less expensive in another country, that's why they're produced there and resold here in America. But I'm gonna take this washi tape because there is just a tiny bit, I don't know if the light can grab this or not for you, but there's just a tiny bit of overbleed of glue here past the painting. And that is very irritating when you're painting to get stuck things on there. So I'm going to put a little bit of this washi tape right up against the edge to cover up that extra glue and to give him a good straight line to shoot for when he's putting down his diamond drills. Now, I can't really cover this one up for him yet because I need for him to take, this side rather, I need for him to take a picture of it before I do that so that he'll have, well, this is his legend or transcript, whatever you want to call it, of what all the little tiny symbols and dots and letters, which actually these are all letters. I don't know if you can see. See, there are a combination of numbers and letters across this canvas. And that's his key or his map, the legend of what each of those should be. Now this is the very first one I've ever received that actually didn't have the DMC numbering on it as well. Here's a strip or a legend that came with one that I've been working on. And see, it has the number, it has the legend of the sign or the map of the sign, and then it has the DMC number on it, which is the same thing that you would see with your floss or the thread if you were cross stitching. This one didn't come with that, so it made kitting up the drills just a little bit different, perhaps even awkward, you might say, for me, because it's not something that I'm used to. I'm just gonna tape down 3 sides at the moment, and I'll have him work from right to left. Let me finish this, and then we'll put the parchment down, and we'll be ready to go. About the only thing that's American here is it tells me it is a 30 by 30 centimeter, and this is the name or the number of this print from this company. So if by chance there were any diamond drills missing or there was an issue with it, you would have to refer back to that specific number. It's also right there above the key or legend. You'd need to refer back to that to have anything done with it. So I'm going to proceed by putting down the parchment paper now. This will allow him to work in small sections, which honestly just makes it so much easier. He can start anywhere on the painting that he wants to this way, which is what I do. You just remove a section at a time and fill in the drills on that spot. I personally like to start right smack dab in the center, and I expect he might as well, so that's why I'm placing these in this manner. Okay, other than that one side, this is now ready for him to start picking off the corner or even in the center and then going to the drills. So I'm going to put this off to the side for a moment. These are the other items that came with this kit. And honestly, I've not received anything that didn't come with all the packages. This one came with a few Ziploc baggies that you could, I guess, store the extras left over afterwards in. I'm just going to put those to the side because I'm not going to use that system. It also came with a small green tray and a small square of wax, as well as the drill pin. Now I want to show you some of the things that I would normally use that come from other companies. A lot of companies will send you actually a tray similar to this. And I have a couple of other tools here to the side that I'm going to share with you. This one came with the kit that I ordered not too long ago. It's just a fancy little single applicator. I honestly haven't even used it because I'm just so used to using these. I will probably set him up with this one because it has the cushion pad. It does have the single dot on one side, but it also has a 3-placer on this side. So you would dip this down into the wax, then dip it into the tray, and it picks up 3 at a time. So I will probably replace this one for him with this one. I have another one exactly like that I'm already using. And this one actually came with a bunch, see there's wax there, a bunch of placers. I rarely use more than the 3-placer. One company did send me this little gadget, and I use this all the time, especially when I'm working with the square drill, because it allows me to push the drills and keep them lined up. I'm kind of, well, excuse my language, but I'm kind of anal about things being straight. So I do like that, and I will let him borrow that. Another couple of things that usually will come with the kit that did not come with this one, I mean this was a very inexpensive one, are usually tweezers. So you get some nice tweezers, some less nice ones. Both are very, very handy when you're working with drills in the tray, or if you spill something, or I've even used them to help pick off trash from the glue that gets stuck on the top of the canvas. So this is the way that these drills came, and I'm going to save that for later. They come in a long package, and again, on the front of these packages, the only numbers that I see is the name of, or the number of this painting, and the number that corresponds with on the legend here. It doesn't give me any DMC colors, and I am so used to having DMC colors, especially in my storage. So I've had to devise a little bit of a different way of setting these up. Let me move these out of my way for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and use my round bottles for this storage, and what I'm having to do is I'm having to take the number and cut it out off of here. Let's see if I can get that where you can see. That's the number 1, this is the number 20, and I'm just literally taping it to the lid of these little canisters. Since I haven't used these rounds yet, this was the perfect time to set that up. However, number 20 was enough that I needed 2 of these little jars. So there's going to be a lot of these black ones on this painting apparently. So I thought I would show you the difference between a round and a square drill. This is going to be a round painting, and one that I have done before is actually a square painting. So let's see if I can zoom in quite. Hopefully that is getting zoomed in for you there. So this on the top is actually a square, and then on the bottom is a round. The big differences are that a square will cover all of the background, where the round will leave some of the color that's on the canvas to come through. The rounds, honestly, are probably a little bit faster and easier, so that's why I'm going to set him up with this one this time. I don't really have a preference. I do like how the squares maybe are a little bit, I don't know, solid, that you don't see with the rounds, but I think they both sparkle and shine just as much. However, on this one, you can see the difference between the darker green has a little bit more sparkle than the round green. That's probably also because I paid more for the square kit than I did for this round kit. So I'm also doing the same thing that I've shown you before. I'm taking a dryer sheet. Let me set this off to the side a little bit. I'm taking this dryer sheet and I am cutting. I started at the end, so let me find the end. So this one will be number 15. Don't want to lose any of those little beads. So I'm cutting close to that number, discarding trash, pouring them out over my dryer sheet because I still want to get rid of as much of that static as I can. Oops. Still going to manipulate these. This is sort of a pretty gunmetal. I wish I knew the DMC color because I might already have some just like it somewhere. So I've manipulated, I've run it through that dryer sheet to help remove all the static. And now I'm having to take this and cut out this number. And I'm taping that little tiny square to the lid so that he'll know what number to work from. Okay, so I will continue to do that with the rest of these packages. And oh, I didn't go over the different types of wax. Let me show you those again. I'm sure that I've gone over this in previous videos. this is what came with it. This came with another one, and that has still become, I have several of these, and I love this because it's just a softer, more malleable wax. This came with looks like Dreamer Designs, and honestly it's so hard and dried out that it's not worked real well for me. You can't hardly make a dent in it. It doesn't pick up the diamonds as well. This one came with the last one that I set up, and it's a little more malleable. It's soft, and I have tried using it a few times, well, as you can see, but I still end up going back to this round one. So if you actually find, I don't remember which company uses this and sends them to me, but if you find some of these, you need to grab several of them because I think they're just better than the ones that come. I will start them off with this just to start with, but I have a few extras of this. And honestly, these last through a lot of paintings. They're not just a one-time thing. I've rarely used more than a quarter of one in an entire painting. But we'll set him up with that. So, I'm looking to see if I have forgotten anything. Oh, I know. You know, there are several different types of, I guess you'd call these trays. This is just a tray I keep around when I'm working. And you can see I've been outside, there's a leaf in it. I do, whenever I find something missing, or I'm sorry, when I find something that's left over on the table somewhere, I tend to toss them in here. And then at the end of the paintings, I keep a little box of miscellaneous. And I have several projects in mind how I'm going to actually use these leftover drills. Most of these are squares. There are a few rounds in there. This is probably from the last 3 paintings that I've done. But I also like this little, I guess you'd call this a tray. It's built in with a pen holder on the side so you can actually put your pen in there. Doesn't always work great with one of these, but it does fit in there. And that kind of matches. In fact, they might have even come together. I'm not 100% sure if I got this with the kit that I purchased or if it came with just some accessories that I've purchased over the years. The only other thing that I can think of to get my son started would be the use of a light pad. It's very difficult to show the difference on camera, but because this painting is going to be so dark, it will just be so much easier if he had a source coming up through the canvas as he's painting that makes that shine through. It just, I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. The only thing that is just as good for me is to be outside in the sunshine where it's bright coming down on it rather than underneath it. But other than that, I really think that he's going to be set up and ready to go in no time. I'm anxious for him to get started and see how he enjoys it. I'll check back and let you see progress on it as it happens. Thanks for joining.